Hello everyone, would you like to sketch this beautiful Ganpati along with me using this reference image and just two graphite pencils 2B and 10B? Hi, I am Sanika Dhanorkar, an artist and interior designer, and I have been painting and sketching right since my childhood. Come on then, grab your paper and pencils and let's begin. To start with, I am mentioning the materials used in the description below. For the paper, I have used cartridge paper, which is a thick paper, thicker than the normal print paper that you use for photocopies or even your simple drawing papers. The thickness of the paper helps in taking the pressure of the pencils while sketching. The pencils that I have used are 2B and 10B, like I said in the introduction. 2B pencils are one of the lighter pencils in the B series pencils, and of course 10B are the darkest. Now I am using the 2B pencil to draw an outline of the image that I am drawing. Now, because this is just the initial sketch, I am going to keep the work very light, and so I am not going to use any pressure of the pencil. Another very important thing to note while doing the initial sketch is of course maintaining the proportions. The proportions of the shapes with relation to each other will have to be maintained properly so that the end result will be good and so that the end result will not look too skewed or disproportionate or distorted in any way. Also remember, at this stage we are not going to add any details. We are going to do only the outline work of the image. So let us finish the outline work in this fashion and then begin with our shading. Now slowly I am beginning to add the individual features of the idol and also the shaded part. Now for the shaded part, we will have to note that the light source, as observed on the idol, we can see that the light source is coming from both the sides, left and right. You can make this out from the knees portion of the idol, where you can see two highlights on each of the knees, that is one on the left and one on the right hand side. And so what is happening is the shadows are forming on both sides of the idol, that is the left hand side features of the idol is creating shadows on the right side of the feature, and the right side features are creating shadows on the left side. This is a little tricky to understand. Let's not give too much of weightage to that now. We will just follow whatever shade that we are observing in the idol from the reference image itself. Now I'm using a 10B pencil to do the shading part and add the darker tones. I'm using slight pressure of the hand wherever required if I have to indicate the darker portions, and wherever I have to indicate lighter portions, I will either decrease the pressure of the 10B pencil or intermittently use the 2B pencil also if I need to light a shading portion. For the darkest portion, of course, 10B will be used mostly. Slowly and steadily we will follow each and every part of the idol as we see in the image and complete our picture. I am using basically oblique strokes pencil to indicate the shadings. These oblique strokes can be either unidirectional or wherever required. If we have to show slightly darker portions, then we can add another layer of oblique strokes from the opposite side. Another thing to remember is that we only work from top to bottom and left to right to avoid smudging of the completed work. But if you have to go back to some of the completed portions to maybe make some corrections or add a few things, and if you need to keep your hand over the completed work, then you may use a butter paper or any paper for that matter between the hand and the work so as to avoid smudging. Now, in order to bring out the 3D effect of the image, one more thing to remember is about the lightness and the darkness of certain portions. You have to take note of the lightest of light areas as well as the darkest of dark areas. Now in this case you will see the lightest of lights, which are basically the highlights created on the idol, and those are in places like on the knees, on the trunk of the head, on the shoulders, and a few other places. These areas will be lightest of lights and therefore they can be left as paper whites itself. For the darkest of dark areas, for example in this image you can see them just behind the ears or between the ears and the rear hands, or at places, few other places like under the lower feet, and a few places under the belly, under the palms of the hands, and places like that. These areas are darkest of darks and therefore they can be sketched with the highest of pressure of the pencil and made to look the darkest. And so, keeping all of these things in mind, let's proceed and complete our sketch. And that's it. Our sketch is ready. If you liked it, do subscribe to the channel, like the video, leave your comments and share it with your friends. And don't forget to press the bell icon to get notifications of future videos. Also click on the end screens to watch more videos. Thank you.